The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. Want to support The Angry Chicken? Go to patreon.com/TAC to become a TAC patron. We'd like to thank everyone who's supporting us on Patreon. The Angry Chicken is also sponsored by DoghouseSystems.com. You can use the code TAC to get double memory on your next gaming PC and support The Angry Chicken in the process.
Well met. A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
It's time for a little fun.
This is The Angry Chicken.
I hope you like my invention.
I'm gonna eat that.
Reporting position.
Greetings and welcome back to episode 26 of The Angry Chicken. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and I am joined, as I always am, by Willie Dills Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat. Guys, how you doing? Answer at the same time.
Hello.
Fantastic.
Good. Hi. Oh, Jocelyn. You gotta answer immediately.
I did answer immediately.
Is
I was
something
faster. I was much faster.
I don't think so.
I listened to
don't
like
think
the
so.
last 10 minutes of, I think it was last week's episode, just to make sure, I'd like to check in, make sure audio is still sounding good and everything. And I was just like, I realized I ask you, how you guys doing every week, and I don't pitch it to one of you. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
just
it's
see who answers first.
There are some shows that I listen to or watch, and the host will never do that. And the two people that they are with, or three people, or however many, are not like me and Jocelyn, where we will just jump in and start talking. So it gets real awkward. So I'm glad that we're not.
Well,
Yeah.
that sounds
We're
like
okay with it.
it sounds like the first podcast anyone ever does together.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
The
you
first
always
few.
have to find that camaraderie and that chemistry. So
Yeah, I think after 26 weeks, we kind of understand each other's speaking habits.
what was that?
Jill speaks all the time, and
What'd you say?
Jocelyn doesn't
Huh?
get to speak.
What?
Sorry, what was that?
Huh?
I'm sorry. Someone was talking just there, but I don't know who it was. Here, you asked a question?
Oh, we're just gonna keep moving on and ignoring Bill's trolling
All right.
his own show.
I know. I'm just-
So it's another week. We've had a lot of Hearthstone to play. Some big developments that affected not me.
They can affect
It
you.
can.
You just have to go out of your way.
Yeah,
to
we'll get into
break
that.
rules.
We'll get into that in a second. Before
Are you guys like climbing ladders? What are you doing? Are you playing arena? What's your current Hearthstone
I've
situation?
been climbing ladders. I think I left off at rank 13.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
I had
Pretty good.
the best win streak, I think, ever. I just started using Hearthstats, so I don't have a way to verify this, properly. But also, if you're watching live, Dills' webcam has frozen on the happiest face he has ever made.
It's amazing.
Oh, and he just fell out. Oh, no. Damn you, internets. Damn you to hell.
But that face.
Oh, it was great. It was like the Dills. No, I'm not going to say what that looked like. So, episode 26 off to a really good start, Jocelyn.
Amazing. And I figured it out. The whole theme song and us not being able to hear it, it's when you mute your mic. So something is crossing wires somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
So, can you hear the news bumper?
Good news, everyone.
No.
Oh, okay. So then it's not that.
Oh, it's not. Damn it. Because I could hear the end of the theme song again when you started talking. I was like,
Okay. So something. For those of you who have just had the fourth wall broken by Jocelyn, been trying to get it set up where Dills and Jocelyn can hear everything I'm playing live, like the live crowd can, and it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. Jocelyn, you were just on Amove Radio, and it did work.
that's true. It did.
Yeah, so now you have been witness to the fact that Amove Radio works perfectly, and the Angry Chicken goes up in flames every week.
This whole time, I thought you were just crazy.
Yeah. Welcome back, Dills.
Hi.
I love
My,
that shirt, by the way.
My PC just decided to die. Like,
Oh.
I don't know why. It's like nothing's happening on it anymore. So whatever.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm. We switched to the Mac. So.
Oh, that was a really quick switch.
Yeah, it was just unplug this, unplug that. I'm an audio. I have a degree in this, Garrett. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, unplug something and then you got to plug it back in.
You could work.
Crazy what you learn over 4 years.
You could work for the IT crowd on BBC. Try turning it off and on.
Yeah, turn it off and on again. Yeah.
So anyway, back to my win streak. I believe I'm currently on 11 wins in a row.
Nice, dude.
11 uncontested wins. And if everyone's asking what it was, I've been playing Zulok.
Oh, okay.
And apparently confusing people because I'm running one. I'm sorry. I didn't get much sleep last night. What is the 6-mana removal card for Morlock?
Oh, Siphon Soul.
Siphon Soul. I'm running one of those in there, and everyone that's looked at my deck this week is like, why is that in there? That's a card that does not make it into any of the Zoo decks. But I'm actually thinking about when I haven't been playing Zoo, but if I start going back to it and tweaking it a little bit, I have kind of my own version of it a little bit now, but it's fairly close to what everyone else is running. But I'm thinking about throwing in a big game hunter and a Black Knight, and I may or may not throw in a Harrison Jones as well, because I just feel like in the current meta, there's a lot of like Zoo does really well against like other aggro decks, but then you go up against like a control deck.
like a control deck with big taunters or something, and it takes like 3 cards to get through. Whereas if I can swing the tempo with like a Black Knight once, it's probably going to win me the game. So
yeah, absolutely. I think, and it's been a while since I've been running Tankmaster, but I'm pretty sure when I first started playing Zulok, it was right before Tankmaster got nerfed. And I think at the time I was like, well, Tankmaster is now useless. I'm going to swap him out for Siphon Soul. And
that makes sense.
And it hasn't really gone wrong, so I've just kept running with it.
Well, you'll probably run into situations where you have like 4 cards on board, and then they put out some big dude, and then Siphon Soul doesn't like lose you tempo; it just allows you to keep it, right?
Exactly.
So,
that's it. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of cards in your deck that discard cards, so it's not the worst card to get discarded either.
Yeah,
I want to get that
true.
Doom Guard out on turn 5. So
that's true. Jocelyn, what are you playing? What deck are you running?
Well, I've been trying a druid, a really control-y druid, and I haven't been playing in the ladder. I've just been playing in unranked, casual, whatever, because I'm trying to kind of tweak decks. Mm-hmm. I've really, really tried to figure stuff out myself, and then I tried net decking for a while, and now I'm back to figuring things out myself because so many of the decks that are available, like, I don't have some really key cards. Mm-hmm. So I've just stopped playing on ladder because it was getting really frustrating. There's only so many times you can see, like, you can't lose stars at this rank. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, though, is you might be playing really weird decks in casual, so it's hard to really judge like what's good and what's not good, right? So
it's more so what I'm comfortable with and what I'm comfortable playing, because I can win with the hunter deck, and I don't actually think I've lost a game on the ladder with that hunter deck, but it's not fun. Yeah. And I don't want to just grind up the ladder to playing a deck I don't like. I'd rather have fun, get my card back, make it to 20. Like, I know that I'm never going to compete, or at least not until I really build up my card library. I'm not going to compete at the really, really high level. So I would rather get as far as I need to get my reward in a season while still having fun. So I switched out of the ladder and am trying things with the druid, because that's one of the classes that I really kind of gravitate towards. I enjoy it. I like the mechanics. There's a good mix of creatures and spells, like, so I'm not too, because that's my problem with, like, the hunter is, like, mostly creatures, and then the mage is mostly spells, and it's a good mix right in the middle there, so I'm just kind of trying to make things work and having fun on my iPad.
Nice, yeah.
You ass.
It's so much fun on the iPad, let me tell you. Oh, man.
Yep.
By the way, I did move to Canada, everybody. So
I heard that you defected, and now we're fellow Canadians, which is amazing.
I'm on the western side, though. West Coast. I don't even. You know what I realized the other day when I was like thinking about this? I know.
I don't know, Robot Dills. Please tell us.
Yeah, you guys don't already know. So I know a lot of Canadians. I think I know only Canadians who live on the East Coast. Like, what is going on the West Coast that I just don't meet or know any of these people?
I have no idea.
What's over there?
Cashel.
Is it
Cashel's in
Barren
Vancouver.
Wasteland? Oh, okay. Shell. All right. That's the only one I know of. Seriously,
But-
like I just know only people from the east coast of Canada. It's very strange.
There's probably about like 80% of the Canadian population lives on the East Coast. There's
Okay.
like nobody in the in the
Alright.
middle, and then everybody kind of clumped in Vancouver.
I guess that makes sense. All right, video off, video on.
Your
Apparently, Skype hates me right
your
now.
internet is just going to
Yeah.
hell all
It's
of a
not my
sudden.
internet. It's Skype, dude. It's
Oh,
like
okay,
the
yeah.
internet is fine. It's
You
it's
started
jam.
going all garbly on us too, but
Mm-hmm.
if it happens again, just kill your camera. You're fine
Yeah.
for the time being, though.
Yeah.
What was I going to say, Jocelyn? Do you have a Leroy Jenkins?
No.
Okay. Here's another
And
question.
I disenchanted a couple of legendaries because I never used them. It was barren.
have you
and,
spent that dust? Have you spent that dust?
I haven't. I'm only at 900. I was hoping that I
Okay, so
could, I got a pack from having the iPad.
Ooh.
And then I got another couple of packs because I bought them through the iPad just to kind of test how that all worked and how the purchases, what they went through, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
took one for the team, guys.
Cool.
And so I was hoping I might get enough, but I'm still sitting at 900
So-
and I was going to save for a legendary, but now I don't know what I should do.
So, what was your did you have your eye on a specific legendary? Like, what's your goal for the next card you're going to craft?
I couldn't decide. I mean, I was going to go with Rag, but then I was thinking
still don't have a
Leroy
Rag.
because I mean, the Leroy would go really well in that Hunter deck, and that's one of the big things that I'm missing in that deck.
Yeah.
But
If you're playing Druid, you probably don't want Leroy first if you're
Yeah.
gonna stick with that. I'd probably go with Rag first because I know you have Ysera, so
I do.
you could have you could go with a really kind of control-y Druid deck that would end up with your finishers being Ysera and Ragnaros. You could do pretty good there, so
yeah.
I'd go for that. Yeah.
But I'm still a good 500 dust away, so
Okay. Arenas. Gotta play arenas.
I don't have that much gold.
Packs.
excuse me.
Oh, I see. Okay. See,
Okay.
I still feel
Down
like
to-
though you get
your
because you
dailies.
get dust in the rewards, so
you do, yeah.
like,
Just
you get the pack plus dust, so you build up. It feels like you build the dust up a little faster than trying to win 30 games.
Yeah.
You do one arena run and then you come out with stuff. So
yeah, I've gotten back into the swing of making sure to do my daily every day, regardless of
yeah,
what it
I
is.
never
even
do
if
that.
it's
So bad.
And thus, I've been doing a lot of casual play. So I keep getting Paladin. I'm just like,
did you?
I keep
mean,
getting Rogue and Warrior.
you get rid of them when you get those, right? And you
yeah. But then I
Try
get
to,
something
one a day.
like play 40 minions that cost over 6 mana. I'm just like, oh, this one's even worse.
yeah. I guess like I just kind of play all the decks right now, so whatever I get, I'm just like, okay, I'll do that. That's fine.
Gotcha.
But of the last 3 days, I've been getting Warrior, which is good because I've been playing Control Warrior and doing pretty well. I think I was just streaming. I think I was at rank 9 when I stopped.
Okay.
But I also, because the iPad, when I'm on the iPad, I don't know why, I just want to do arena runs because I just want to sit there and like play a session on the iPad. I don't know why. Something about it just makes me want to click that arena button. So I've actually, I should be, since I said I was going to try to get Legendary this season, I should be playing only Constructed, but can't help myself.
Damn it, Dills.
You've
I just
got
love
like
arena.
Buckle down,
more
man.
than-
What are you
he's
doing?
got tons of time, Garrett. You leave him alone.
Well,
Legend
yeah.
takes a lot of time.
That's the thing. It's like even
People
though
don't
rank 9 right
understand.
now, I know what's going to happen when I get to rank 5, and that is it gets extremely grindy. So, because you can't get win streaks anymore, so forget those. You just have to win 25 more times than you lose before the month is out. So, whatever. We'll get there. It's still early enough.
Yep. It's rough stuff. So, well, that's good to hear, man. Hope get back on it.
All right, I'm on it.
I wanna,
Also, Heroes, dude. Heroes has been cutting into the time a little bit.
Yeah, it really has. If only we had an outlet to talk about Heroes. Oh wait,
But we never will. We never will. Oh, wait, hold on.
we do now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should announce this on
If
the show.
if you listen, if you listen to Amy Radio or I guess you talked about it in the instance this past week, you already know about it. But if you don't, and this is your shot of Dills and Garrett in your week. We're starting a Heroes of the Storm show. It's called Into the Nexus. There's one X in Nexus if you're searching for it.
I think we should do it with 3 X's. It should just be like Into the Next.
Into the triple Xmas.
Yeah.
Triple X.
That was totally going to be what I
like
said. Because there's 3 hosts. 1 X per host, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And if we add hosts, we just tack on more X's.
Yeah.
Why
Then we'll
not?
all do it.
If
like,
Dills says F this, I'm out, we remove one.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're starting a Here's the Storm podcast. It's called Into the Nexus. We're going to be recording it usually on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. This week for the first episode, we're doing it at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
because
we got to bump it up a little bit. Well, it's 5 p.m. for West Coasters.
8 p.m.
I have
Eastern.
To go to I have to go to a Giants game to sit in the press box after. And if I don't, when they give us press box tickets and we don't use them, it looks really bad.
Oh,
So,
you don't need to explain this to me.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
like-
I
be like
got to
if
go
it-
to that. But, I really want to do this first show. I'm excited about this show a lot. So, yeah, I'll move it up for this week.
Yeah, absolutely. There's already a feed on iTunes. If you're iTunes inclined, Stitcher is taking forever to approve the show, as is usual for Stitcher.
Yeah, they want to know what it's about. So,
Yeah,
but
for everyone.
somebody
who-
actually has to, like a person approves it on Stitcher.
I think a person approves it on iTunes as well, because when I've
I
applied
don't know. I
on
think it might just be monkeys. Like
when
just,
when I've applied on weekends, it doesn't go through until Monday.
yeah, but their standards are much different on iTunes.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who are just like, F this, I hate iTunes. Well, there's this thing called an RSS feed, and if you're an educated monkey, you can figure out how to use it. And
Garrett.
it's so weird how many people get aggro. It's like, why are you promoting iTunes? Well, because it's the easiest and the largest audience is there. It's simple numbers. But yeah, if you're RSS inclined, we already have the RSS feed up and running. You can get it on a link over at amove.tv/ITN, which stands for Into the Nexus. So looking forward to that. Oh, and the other host will be Kyle Ferguson.
That is important to note.
Yeah, via StarCast.
He's actually the guy who's good at MOBAs.
Yes, he's been playing Dota since it was a Warcraft 3 mod. He's very excited about here. He's been playing a lot of it. We've all been playing a lot of it.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to talking about it. And I'm sure Jocelyn, whenever the hell you get in the alpha, we'll have you on sometime.
Frustrating. So frustrating.
We'll get you in there.
We'll have you on episode 2 just to be like, you're not in yet.
See, but she gets to lord over everybody that she's got Hearthstone on the iPad. So
That's true.
It all works out.
And
Plus,
officially, not some weird Dills workaround.
you have ESO before I do. Like
True.
way before, like infinitely before I do. Because I will never have it.
Because
You're missing out.
Don't want
Go listen to A Move Radio, dude. You're missing out.
All right. I was there for what? Gamers In? Yeah.
Gamers
I popped
In, yes.
Gamers
Trolling me
just-
in my own chat
just
room,
to
you
make fun
fucker.
of me in ESO.
Oh, God. Damn it, Jocelyn. Try to keep a clean tag. We try.
Sorry.
Try.
Sorry.
Just bleep me.
On this show, A Move Radio is not a clean show. But
See, there you go. It's because I did A Move Radio beforehand.
yeah, no,
exactly.
no.
Just dropping
All the
F-bombs. You
swears.
can't ask me to stop now.
We all have an inner rage in this show. Just for whatever reason, I was the one to rage first. Thus, hence the Garrett rage.
Thus, you will be known forevermore as the
Yeah,
Rager.
but people don't know. They don't like. So you guys need to like play a game with Jocelyn with her mic'd, because it sounds like anytime the Hound talked in the most recent episode of Game of Thrones.
I was going to say I'm not that bad, but I'm really that bad.
You are really bad. I'm really bad too, and I realized in Heroes since I've been streaming, people are like, Garrett really likes yelling "sea sucker" a lot when he dies.
Yeah. I get pretty mad in that game though too, and then I like to yell expletives when I actually do good in that game. Also,
Yeah.
so
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we did the same thing in Heroes. It's just Heroes. Hearthstone. Hearthstone's just it's something more relaxing and more meditative about Hearthstone, because you're sitting there like you're about to make a chess move and you're contemplating, okay, what is the best move to make? And because
you'll never see anybody go like while they're playing Heroes.
no,
Like,
they're
that's
just like
never
click,
gonna
click, 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 and the chat room's going, do they even read chat? And it's like, I do, but I don't want to lose.
Exactly.
So there you go. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's kick off the week with some Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
So we already talked about it a little bit, but Jocelyn is a bastard, and the iPad release has come to Australia, New Zealand, and Canada.
Yes. Which actually happens really, really often with a lot of different iOS titles. They use kind of Canada, Australia, New Zealand as like a beta test.
It's like the soft launch.
A soft launch, yeah. So we got Plants vs. Zombies 2, I think, before everybody else by about a week. So, I mean, if you guys don't have this next week, I'll be shocked. But at least for 1 week, I get to lord it over you and say, yay, I played on my iPad officially.
My iPad was taken away by my girlfriend who was on a business trip this weekend, so it wouldn't even have affected me.
But
nonetheless.
it's great. So good.
Yeah.
It really is. And like, it doesn't feel like there's any, it doesn't feel like there's any extra bugs or anything like that.
Yeah.
There was some weird disconnect stuff going on the other night, but I heard that people who are playing on the PC were also getting those, so I can't say that that was for sure iPad related.
There's been a couple BattleNet bugs this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Have you guys, by the way, I just want to bring this up. I know we're talking about the iPad release, but have either of you guys actually successfully reconnected to a game yet? Has that happened to you?
Yes.
You have.
As a matter of fact, yeah, one of my games during my win streak was a disconnect, and I came back in, and we were both facing each other.
So I'm curious how this works because I haven't had it happen yet. You have to like realize you're disconnected, right? And then like exit the game and come back in, or does it just automatically like say to you,
it
hey,
gives you
you're disconnected?
The way it happened to me is it gave me that like, oops, something happened, and it shows you the big sign. It's like you've been disconnected, and you just have to close out. And then I was like, oh, son of a bitch, and so I opened it back up, and I wasn't even thinking about how it was going to work. I just assumed I was screwed because it's been my only experience.
That's
so
how
far.
it's worked in the past. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like, you've been reconnected, and
nice,
just in the game. And luckily, I disconnected right at the beginning of the game, so I didn't even really have to get my head back into whatever was happening. I'd be really interested to see how it would happen if I already had a developed board and was like on turn 7 or something.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've heard people saying that it's not working right now, so I was curious to know if anybody, like, I'd heard it's not working, and then I had not experienced it yet, so I even tried to like look into it, and there's just very little information about what's going on other than like some forum posts of people, bitching and moaning.
Okay.
Which is, yeah.
Well, I mean, you could
not really normal.
You could test it yourself. I mean, you could just like unplug your Ethernet cord in the middle of a game and see how it affects it.
No, that sounds like what I should do. Yeah, you're right.
Do it in a casual game.
I can do it in a
Dills,
casual game,
it's
sure.
science. You have to.
Science? Yeah, you're right.
It's not really science in terms of like previous science we've been doing, but yeah, I guess it is technically.
Still Hearthstone science.
True, yeah.
Just not as interesting.
By the way, so it launched in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and my room because I have it on the iPad.
You went out to your front.
You now officially belong to Canada.
Yeah.
This is what Dills did. Dills went onto his front lawn. He planted a Canadian flag. He went back inside and downloaded the Hearthstone flag.
I took a picture of it, and then I sent it into Blizzard. And I said, "See, I'm clearly Canadian, right?" So,
he was wearing a hockey jersey.
Yeah.
He was wearing a hockey jersey. He was eating some bacon with maple syrup on it.
It's true.
The beer in the other hand.
And he was being exceptionally polite.
Molson's, yeah. But yeah, so you can get it, you guys. I'm not sure, and I did this on the instance too. Like, I'm not sure how much trouble I'll get into if I tell you how to do it.
Of service.
Yeah, but just know it's possible. I'm not going to tell you how.
I'd like to quote Tom Merritt in saying that I think you just broke Apple and Blizzard's terms of service.
Yeah, both in one shot.
In one fell swoop.
Probably not.
Actually, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and tell everybody exactly how to do it. I did do that on my stream, though.
Yeah. You can look at, there's plenty of places you can find it if you're interested in doing this. I would say it's probably going to be out tomorrow in the U.S., but that's what I said the day it came out in Canada, and I don't know when the hell this thing's coming out now.
Well, if you read the next bit of news, which I posted in there, iPad developer interview, they actually said it would be a few weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm moving to Canada too then.
Yeah.
We're really nice up here.
The reason for doing it was basically to test it with a smaller group of users before, so it's basically like stress testing it a little bit before they actually go, balls to the wall and give it out to everybody. So it's a few weeks away, according to them, but I don't know exactly when. I think that interview was done like right around the day it came out, so the 2nd of April, and so that would mean we're looking at mid-April for everybody else.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a couple other cool things in the interview. Offline mode is not currently there, but they have discussed it, and it's something that they would be interested in bringing later, which could be really cool. Like I think it'd be awesome to be able to play somebody over like the Bluetooth connections or whatever where you can do on some games.
AirDrop or whatever.
Yeah,
they've got
like I
now.
can just play the person sitting next to me.
Yeah, like
that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, if Katie and I are on a plane going to BlizzCon, we could sit there with like an iPad. Or imagine if you could do a cross play, like I could get my phone and an iPad or something. That'd be great.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Just
right?
sit there versus each other and not be able to run away when she gets mad and hits me for beating her too many times.
Is that what happens? Oh man.
No, actually, the last time we played, she kicked my ass, and she hasn't played since because she wants to go out on a win.
She's like, I'm just never gonna play again. That's it.
That's
She's like,
commitment.
I
never get better.
I
than
beat my
this.
boyfriend. I'm done. I'm out.
I can lord this over Garrett forever.
They also did note that they're going to support as many people as possible. So Android, and then the guy who was doing the interview said like he had a Windows phone, and they were like, yeah, as many people as possible. So Windows phones not completely out of the question. And then social features they talked about, which I think was kind of interesting, like Facebook and Twitter stuff. So, like, let's say you rank up, and then it says like, "Hey, you want to post that to Facebook?" That kind of stuff could be cool. Or I open a legendary and then I can like tweet it out. That
Could it be cool? Do you really think that stuff is cool?
It doesn't. It's not cool. It's not super cool. I don't really care about it. But as a company, they should definitely want to do that because then
it's free
posting
publicity
about the game they're playing.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
The free-to-play game, yeah. They
Yeah.
need the advertising.
Yep.
But there also could be stuff like, I mean, I wouldn't mind to know other people who are my friends who are playing Hearthstone that I didn't know because we weren't BattleNet friends. Like that could
True.
be really cool because I just found out a buddy of mine was playing Hearthstone. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, but we don't just talk about Hearthstone all the time. And then I found that he was playing like randomly, and I was like, oh, well, we should be friends on BattleNet. So there could be a lot of cool stuff in there that they could do besides just that one thing of like auto posting to Facebook and stuff.
Yeah. The BattleNet client got a random overhaul this week too. Have you guys been playing around? Like we got the chat now that is not. It's like agnostic chat. It's not tied to any one game. You can just open up your BattleNet client and see everyone that's on in just their clients or in their specific games.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and now I can bug Dills when he's in a Heroes game if I'm not logged into Heroes.
Although
I can't do that.
Heroes, because of the fact that it's alpha, I can't tell who's on in Heroes.
Yes, that is very true. So
Yeah, which is kind of annoying.
yeah.
That's the way it was in Hearthstone at first too. Like I had to go into Hearthstone to see if people were on,
Yeah.
and then add people separately and all that
They
stuff.
also had, I don't even remember where I found it, but like people you might know, and I found a bunch of like podcast buddies that I didn't know their battle tags and added them
really?
that way. Yeah.
Like friends of friends kind of thing.
Yeah, like for example,
cool.
for whatever reason, I never exchanged BattleNet info with Scott, and it was just like, you might know Scott Johnson. I'm like, how do I not have him on here? So and
He's been avoiding you.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it
completely.
is. And what it is.
I actually agree with Scipio17 in the chat that would love to have an appear offline mode, and I said this on the instance too.
Oh, I want that so bad.
It's just, sometimes I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to play. And sometimes I want to talk to everybody. It just depends on how I'm feeling at that moment. So it'd be cool to be able to, like, not have anybody know I'm on.
Jocelyn, I really think it's because Dills just doesn't want his boss to know what he's really doing.
It's true.
This
Yeah,
time.
I
Because
totally
my
thought
boss
you were
and me
gonna
are battle
say.
my friends, but no.
I totally thought you were gonna say Dills just doesn't want to talk to you, and I was like, oh. Yeah, that's also probably likely.
No, contrary to popular
doesn't-
belief, not everything out of my mouth is mean-spirited.
Only on this show.
Yeah.
No, I got way more aggro on A-Move Radio this week. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
Ask me
Yeah,
about
it's
my
like-
opinion of Fallout, everyone. Ask me.
Oh, no. I don't think I want to know. It's a really cool interview, though, and I recommend everybody go over and actually read it because there's a lot in there, and I don't think we could just go over everything. So,
No.
Blizz Pro did the interview.
Yep.
And it was actual, like, Team 5 guys, but the iPad-specific Team 5 guys. So people actually developed the iPad version.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, there you go. Jocelyn, on the spot.
In in other news this week, DreamHack, which is a massive esports tournament that travels all around Europe, is kicking up for the 2014 season. Their DreamHack Bucharest is rapidly descending upon us, and it's bringing with it a $10,000 128 player, completely open to whoever the hell wants to sign up for it, Hearthstone tournament.
So much money.
I am so angry. This isn't
Wait, why?
even remotely close to us.
Oh, I
Just
thought you
need to
were
go to
somehow
Bucharest.
angry at all this money that was being thrown at Hearthstone. I was like,
No.
Garrett,
I am excited as all get out for this because I've been watching StarCraft esports for a long time, and DreamHack puts on the best show, period.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. By the way, Angry Chicken Invitational winner, Savage, is actually now on Team Curse, no longer on Team Doge House, and he's going to go play in this. It's like his first tournament being a part of the new team.
Hell yeah.
So good luck to him. I hope he wins it. That'd be awesome.
You go, dude.
Yeah. I cannot, be sent to Bucharest to play in something, but
We might be able to finagle that. I think we need a little more
someday,
lead
yeah,
time,
we'll
though.
get there. Yeah. But no, really, really cool for him to get over there and do that, and I'm going to be rooting for him all the way. He won our first tournament, and we gave him a pittance of $100. So hopefully he can go over there and win $4,000. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, 128 players, completely open. It's going to be a single elimination, best of 3 tournament.
That's intense.
Yeah, it is.
Well, with 128, they can't really do double elimination.
you kinda
It's
gotta-
gonna take
No,
forever.
Yeah, you gotta speed it up somehow.
Yeah.
I think it's so great that it's just as long as you register in time, you can play in this.
It's pretty crazy.
I love
Yeah,
that.
to just have it wide open like that. I mean, 128. Are they just doing? I didn't read all the specifics. They're just cutting it off at 128, like first come first serve type thing.
I
or
didn't
is
dig
there-
that deep, but yeah, we have a link to the sign up in the show notes.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's not in a language I can read.
Screw it. I'm just gonna sign up. Let's do this.
I'll find out how to get there
okay.
later.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this is saying to me,
yeah.
so never mind.
Yes, I'll sign up. I'll figure out how to get there later. I'm just want to make sure I have a spot.
Oh, you do have to buy in though. Okay.
Yeah, you have
That
to.
makes
It's not
sense.
free.
Okay. Yeah.
Apparently it's in Romanian.
It's in Romanian. I'm gonna translate this though.
Yeah, that always works out real well. There's no
Yeah,
broken English
Google
whatsoever.
is going to tell me exactly what this says.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good. It's not bad.
Okay. Good job, Google. Good on you. So that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to this, if for nothing else than just from a spectator standpoint. DreamHack is they're so damn good at what they do. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to VODs of this. I'll try to watch it live if I can, but it's going to be sweet.
all right, well, it's time for Dills to do what he's so damn good at, which is teach us stuff. Let's get into
Yay.
strategies.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
It's another week and another time to talk some Hearthstone strategies. This week, Dills, you want to talk about mulligan strategies, and thus I'm assuming we're going to be talking about your opening hand in general.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, so you come from playing Magic previously, Garrett, and that has a really rigid, strict mulligan phase, right? Where you basically have to dump your entire hand or not.
Well, it's actually, in my opinion, less strict than Hearthstone's.
You think so? Really?
You can mulligan more than once.
Well, yeah, but if you do, you get penalized pretty severely. Like, having less cards is pretty bad.
It is, but it's sometimes very necessary, and I've definitely had experiences in Hearthstone where I've thought to myself, I would rather have one less card and better cards
And be able to do it again
than all of my 8 drops.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like if you mulligan in Magic and you don't get any lands, like you're basically screwed.
Yes.
And so imagine if like you mulligan in Hearthstone and then like didn't get mana, like you just so the fact that they took that aspect out, I feel like basically makes it an easier, because the thing is, like, on my first draw I get 2 of the cards I really like, and I just need maybe one, like, and then Rag or whatever. So I just get rid of Rag and keep the 2 I like.
Right. I think because of the differences between the 2 games, both games mulligans features make sense.
Makes sense for their particular game.
You have a perfect mana curve in Hearthstone.
Yeah, absolutely. But basically, so people who don't understand what mulliganing is, it's basically it's taken from golf, which means I don't like my first shot, so I say take a mulligan. I'm just going to hit it again, no penalty. This is if you're playing casual golf. It's not necessarily the correct term for this, but I guess it's as good as you're going to get. So you're just replacing the cards in your starting hand. And what you really want to be doing here is kind of initiating your plan of your deck. So I can't give everybody like, here's exactly how you do it, and it always works no matter what kind of deck you're playing. You really have to take into, you really have to think about what kind of strategy am I playing with this deck, and what kind of cards do I really want to have in my opening hand, because it's different. But then there's also the tricky part of what deck am I playing against, and what do I need to counter that particular deck, which obviously at that point in the game you don't have all the information. All you know is their class. So, if you're going up against a Warlock, the Mulligan phase is actually really tricky because of the fact that they play 3 different styles and you generally don't know at all what they are. Whereas if you're playing, say,
a hunter.
Priest or hunter, yeah.
It's like, well, I know exactly what the hunter's going to do to me.
He's coming at my face. Yeah. So, you got to really take all the information you do have and then just try to make the most educated choices you can at that point. So it's a good idea to, before you ever play a deck, and this is why practicing a deck is a really important thing to do. I know that they were making fun of Artosis because he was saying he was practicing his Murloc deck on the ladder, and they're like, what do you do to practice a Murloc deck? Like, oh, good, I got the Murlocs I need. And he made a really good point. Yeah, he made a really good point that the trick of playing a Murloc deck is the Mulligan phase. That's really where you either win or lose a lot of games. Do I get the cards I need in my starting hand or not? And which cards do I need to get rid of? Which cards do I need to hold on to? So even a deck like Murlocs, which I think is so stupid and doesn't belong in the game, and everyone who plays it is a dumbass. But anyway,
you heard it here. Dills called Artosis a dumbass.
There is, well, indirectly, there is some strategy to how to play that deck, and that's in the Mulligan phase. So this is actually a very important part of the game, is figuring out the cards you want in your opening hand, because some decks kind of have they have a god hand kind of built in, where it's if I get this starting hand, I just cannot lose, so you really want to know what that would be before you get to the point where you feel comfortable playing a deck. So I was just playing my Control Warrior deck, and normally I would say, oh, you want to get 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4, 5, or something as your mana curve in your starting hand. But with that Warrior deck, sometimes I want to keep a Whirlwind and sometimes I don't. It depends on if I'm playing a Hunter, Whirlwind is great. If I'm playing a Druid, Whirlwind is probably a wasted card, and then things like Shield Block, which is 3 mana, gain 5 armor, and draw a card. Seems like I would want to play that on turn 3, but you actually don't really want to play that on turn 3. You'd much rather play a Frothing Berserker or something like that. So even though it's a 3 mana card, it doesn't mean that you just want to keep it in your hand because it's a 3 mana card. So I wouldn't even mind getting something else that maybe not as good, because that card isn't going to be good at all early on.
Yeah, I think we've talked about, when you look at your curve, make sure you in the past that you take into account, is this 3-drop actually a 3-drop?
Yes,
for example,
exactly. So a hunter doesn't want to have an Ironbeak Owl in their starting hand. Oh, it's a 2 mana card. I should want that. No, you don't want that. That's just to get past taunts later, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you want to draw into that.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely you want to get rid of any cards that you want to draw into, your finishing cards, your Ragnaroses and your. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but it's still important to kind of note that there are certain cards that, even though they have a low mana cost, doesn't necessarily mean I always just want to keep these. People always say, oh, just keep everything under 4. It's not necessarily true. And there are certain cards, in a Druid deck, I think Keeper of the Grove, I just keep that even if my other 2 cards are really high mana cost cards. I just think Keeper of the Grove is just so strong on turn 4.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to keep it anyway.
It has so much utility. A lot of times when I'm playing, I've been doing so many damn Paladin dailies in casual, I've been keeping the True Silver Champion.
Yeah.
It's just such a strong turn 4 play.
Yeah,
exactly. I want to have this. I want to make sure I have this so that I can start, because it's especially with Paladin, it's such a slow starter.
Yeah, a lot of times you just hero ability on the first like 2 turns or whatever, 2 and 3 sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of that does happen.
Yeah,
A
and
lot
then you
of
just
paladins.
need that card that like catches you back up.
Exactly. And
But so like another card that fits into that Keeper of the Grove category is like the Yeti. Like if I get a Yeti, I generally keep it in my starting hand because even if I'm a little behind on the first couple turns, I pop that Yeti out on turn 4 and it's like, okay, cool, we're back to square one now. Like we've evened things up a little bit.
yeah. That's what I've
So
been
you really want to do that.
I guess to give an example from a different deck, that's why I've been enjoying the Zulok so much. Is because it's very difficult to get a bad starting hand
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
with the Zulok because you have so many low cost minions.
I actually took 1-drops out of my Zoo deck because I was realizing that I always had a really good starting hand, but what tends to happen with the Zoo deck is that you towards the turn 6 or 7, you're like life tapping every single time to play 2 cards. Like your hand is like completely empty.
Yeah.
And you get your 1 card from your draw phase, and then you life tapping a second card. And if both of those are 1-drops, like it's like screws me completely. So I actually like got rid of 1-drops in the deck.
Even the abusive sergeants, because they set me up for so many favorable trades.
I just went down to like one of the Void Walkers and one of the Squires, and like I still have like one of a bunch of those, but I just didn't keep 2 of each one. Like Flame Imp too. It's like if I draw Flame Imp at the end of the game, sometimes I do that 3 damage to myself and put myself into lethal, or it's like an unplayable card. So I basically went like where I would still likely have a good starting hand, but my mid game would be a little bit stronger. And I've noticed that it actually works really well because that was the big weakness for me with the Zulok deck was just like, holy crap, I can't keep up anymore now that you're playing all your big cards and I'm playing 1-drops, So 1-drops are great on turn 1 and then not so good on turn 7.
But they
but anyway, it's important to like note the cards that you want to draw into, whatever. But then there's like things like what card do I need to answer this current matchup? So like if I face a warrior and I have like an Ooze or a Harrison Jones, like I'm not going to get rid of those, even though like Harrison Jones I can't play until turn 5, right? I'm just going to keep the damn thing because I know I'm going to get value out of that at some point. So even though it's like taking up a card slot for me in my opening hand, I know when it actually comes time to be able to play that card, I am going to get value out of that card. So, or like Hunters, I'll keep Harrison Jones against the Hunters too. Because you get rid of that weapon and you take out like one of their biggest ways to kill you, which is being able to hit you for 3 a turn and then reload it with their secrets. So, you got to look for the cards that you know are going to come in handy a little bit down the road. Priests keeping Holy Nova against like aggro decks. Paladins keeping Equality against like Druids and people that are going to play big massive cards, things like that. And then there's cards that are just like you have to keep. Like if you're a hunter, you get Unleash the Hounds, you just keep it. Like you never ever get rid of it. I would even argue keeping 2.
Yeah, you're Unleash or you're Buzzard.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I need these.
Yeah,
and
because you're looking for the combo. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and especially if you're running, if you're playing the version of the hunter that's running 2 trackings, it leaves a lot less up to chance that you're like you get that tracking where it's like, oh crap, I have a Buzzard and an Unleash in my tracking. Oh
yeah. So you're still playing that hunter deck, right? That has the trackings and the flares.
I am, but I haven't played it in the last week.
I'm moving away from that deck. Like I was gonna play hunter like all the way up the ladder, and then I got to like 12 or something with it, and all I faced was control warrior. I was like, can't beat him. I cannot beat him with this deck. It's not gonna happen. They armor up too much. They kill everything because all my stuff has like 1 health. It's just can't be done. So
gotcha.
Until that like goes away, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last thing I'll say is, and this is actually what I just said basically, but I just want to make sure that this point is like really kind of hammered home. Is if you have a deck that's built around cards, so like Unleash the Hounds for Hunters, Miracle Rogue, Gadget Sand Auctioneer, you know, these types of cards that are just like that makes or breaks the deck, then you keep those when you get them in your opening hand. So like I know Gadget's Hand's a 5-drop, you just keep the damn thing because you can't win without that card. So you can't get rid of it and then hope that later on you draw into the card that you can't win without. Like it could go to the bottom of your deck and then you're just screwed. So it's really important to know what those cards are for your particular deck and hold on to those.
Yeah, if you're playing any kind of combo deck, that kind of stuff's real important.
Yeah, yeah. So Druids, you know, if you're playing, someone just said Savage Roar for Druids. I don't think that's one of those cards because that actually with the Druid deck, you actually want to control. Then you do your big combo because you can't do it unless they're at 14 health.
Exactly.
Hunter,
Savage Roar comes in so late into the game.
Yeah, you need it when you're at 9 mana. So, but if you're running like the token Druid, I definitely would think that you would keep a Savage Roar. You might even keep. Well, you definitely keep the Violet Teacher. And you might keep a Savage Roar because you have 2 of them in that deck too. Right. So you got to be aware of what the big key to your deck is, and it's really important that you know that before you go in, and then you can make the you can make the educated choices when it comes to mulliganing. But it's really tricky, and it's one of the things that I think separates, you know, because it's a random thing, but you control it to a certain extent. And you know, it might be the only chance you're going to get in the game to just draw 4 cards, right? So like, I'm going to just draw all 4 cards and see what I get. Like, it's really important that you know how to manage that phase really well,
right?
And you set yourself up for success or failure if you do it right.
Those would be the 2 options.
Yeah, success or failure. Well, failure or tying if you both disconnect.
No, you can reconnect.
Oh yeah, that's true. Still
Are you also going to give it 110% and try to kill the other guy before he kills you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good, viable strategy. Kill the other guy before he kills you. That's been Jocelyn's strategy segment.
You're welcome.
But like when I've been doing like the coaching sessions with people, this is one of the things where we start to actually play some games, and I'm like, yeah, get rid of that. And they're like, oh, I would have kept this. Like, no, that's, you don't want to hold on to that.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like that's the card you want. It's not. And I realize like that people maybe haven't like put as much thought into this phase as, you know, like some of the like top tier players have. And that's really, I think you can get really good. Like if you know all the stuff like trade here, whatever, like you could know all that, but then be bad at this one phase of the game, and it might just be keeping you back.
It's one of the things I see omitted, or I guess maybe just not included out of negligence in a lot of deck guides. They don't talk about the opening hand, which
I remember Yang Wu's deck guide when he made that Hunter deck. He talked specifically about what to keep in the opening hand.
Absolutely, that was still one of the best damn deck guides.
Yeah.
If everyone could just copy that.
To details.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Stormcat makes another good point. You can think in the chat room. He says you can think through 3 turns at the mulligan. So you can like that's you're looking for your curve. It's like, oh, I've got a 2 and a 3 and a 4-drop. Hell yes, let's keep this. Let's do it.
And actually, I watched Trump a bunch, and he will do this like every time during the mulligan phase. He'll be like, okay, well I could play this on 1, and then I can weapon up on turn 2. That would actually be fine because then on turn 3 I can play this. So like you get to even take into account like your hero ability. Like will that play into what I do here? Like if I can play a 1-drop and then hero ability plus the 1-drop can probably kill whatever they play on turn 2.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to put in all of the factors to
take into
really
account the coin, because like if you have the coin, all of a sudden having 2 drops in your hand, you're like, well, okay, I can drop this one on turn 1, I can drop that one on turn 2, and turn 3 I've got a Shattered Sun Cleric. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you go 2, 2, 3, 4 with the coin, you're set up for success in a big way.
Yeah, and that's why I've been doing so damn well with the Zulak. I've had some really, really strong opening hands lately.
Yeah, that's the thing. Zulak just overwhelms, and it's probably the best deck currently to do that, do that overwhelming style.
Yep.
Where they just never have anything to come back at you. I'll point this out too, though. If people are like wanting to play the hand lock, that's a little bit weird because in the hand lock, like you don't usually keep the twos as much. Like you'll probably keep like an Ancient Watcher, but you know if you have Ancient Watcher, Ironbeak Owl, that's pretty good. But most of the time you're looking for like you'll mulligan hard to try to get a Mountain Giant.
Yep.
Because that is the card where you can life tap the first 2 turns, or turn 2, turn 3, and then play a 4-cost Mountain Giant. So an 8/8 for 4 mana on turn 4.
Yep.
So it's a little bit weird, but that's
Such
what
a
I'm saying. You
funky
got to
deck.
know what that looks like for your deck.
Yeah, I have such a hard time making Handlock work.
It's not easy. It's like currently I think what happened was Tinkmaster went away, and then a lot of people just popped a Big Game Hunter in place of it because they're like, oh, this costs 3 mana too. So that hurt the Handlock a little bit.
Yeah.
But in a post-Mage era, Handlock is always going to be pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
It's just a tricky deck to play. It's not easy to play. There's a lot of tough decisions, and your health is always low, and you have to, like, you feel stressed out. You're like, oh, God, I'm only at 10 health, but,
It's like the feeling of being behind on your rent for about a month, but every time you play
Yeah.
Hearthstone, you're just sitting there like you're loosening your tie, you've got the sweats, the cigarettes burning down, and you're just like, oh, God, what's going to happen?
But then you play Leroy Power Overwhelming Faceless, and you're like, boom! And then you Soulfire afterwards, and you do 24 damage in 1 turn.
And you see that ring come out of the center of the Death Star as the X-Wing flies by, and you're just like, yeah, that's
It is really
Hearthstone.
rewarding when you do it right, though. I'll
Yes.
say that.
Yes, it is.
But I'm staying the hell away from it right now because I'm just too scared of the like hunters and stuff who just are rushing my face.
Absolutely.
Control Warrior, dude, just beats hunters.
Was
like,
doing
no
Handlock, and
business.
yeah, the Zulok's just been way more consistent at the moment. So,
Yeah.
anyways, let's talk some crazy game stories.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
All right, I came to the table with a crazy game story this week. I know
Nice.
all 3 of us, we haven't really had anything too insane to share with the class the last few weeks. But yeah, I had a good game this week. So like I said, I went on that 11-win streak with my Handlock deck. Of course, I came away with it with something crazy. So I was playing against a rogue, and I was a turn away from dying. I was sitting at 5 health. Rogue had 14, and my hand was Leroy Jenkins, a Doomguard, and a Soulfire. I could win by playing all 3 of these cards. But Doomguard discards 2 cards. Soulfire discards 1 card. So I go into my next turn, and I go in the draw step, and I draw an Argent Squire. So what I did first is I played Leroy first, because I'm not even sure this is the right decision to do. I was just like,
Well,
yeah,
you give yourself a 50-50
yeah,
instead of 66% to not to discard one of the cards you need.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut the chances down by 17%. I think you did it right.
okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, because I was like, well, if I don't have
Yeah.
all 3 of these, I just straight up lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I played Leroy, then I opted to Soulfire the rogue's face, and I just like sat there, just like held my breath, and just like please, 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 and the Squire got discarded. And
Nice.
I played the Doomguard, and oh man, unclenched.
Forgot to attack?
Unclenched everything.
Okay, so hold on. You were on 9 mana? You must have been.
I
Well, it
don't
doesn't
remember.
matter. 9 or 10 mana. You needed 9 to do it, so you couldn't have life tapped first to lower the chances anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you did it exactly right. Because
Yep.
if you needed those 3 particular cards, then if you'd have Soulfired first, you would have had 2 cards that you can't lose as compared to just 1, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So yeah, you definitely did
absolutely.
it in the right order then.
Yeah, it came down to
That is scary.
Yeah, it came down to complete randomness. Oh man, I was so happy.
That deck has that. Those are the toughest decisions in that deck. It's like, when do I play my Doomguard? Because I'm going to lose 2 cards.
Exactly. If
You know?
if you've a lot of times, if you already have things on the board on turn 5, you should just play it on turn 5,
Yeah,
because it just makes your
yeah.
board stronger.
It's like, what I want to do with that deck is I want to just like dump all my cards before I get to like turn 5. so that I have a really good chance of like drawing it with like an empty hand.
Oh yeah,
because then it's just insane.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. The best feeling this deck gives you, other than consistent wins, is playing a Doom Guard with an empty hand.
Yeah, or a Soulfire with an empty hand. You're just like, yeah, dude, I just did something I'm not supposed to be able to do.
Absolutely.
Which is 4 damage for 0 mana and no penalty.
Yeah,
Like,
it's one of the reasons that the deck is strong, because it revolves around offloading your hand on a Warlock, which is a freaking hero that has a bunch of awesome cards that discard cards. So
you should try this deck, Jocelyn. I want to know your take on this deck.
Yeah.
Which one's this one?
This is the
Zulok,
Zulok.
because it's actually a cheap deck to make too. So you don't have to have a lot of like. There's no legendaries in most of them. Like some of them run Leroy, but you can actually get away without having Leroy at all in this deck and be fine.
I will say Leroy is usually my finisher in most games.
Yeah, but you could, instead of Leroy, you could put in like a Power Overwhelming or something and somewhat do a similar thing.
That's a good point.
You know, it's like it's a luxury to have in that deck, but it's not necessary. So
yeah,
the original version had 0 legendaries in it. It had just the 2 Doom Guards, and like those were the finishers. I think it had Argent Commanders originally too.
Right.
I threw a couple of links down in the chat. But
I'll try it. For the Zoo deck? Okay. Yeah. I want you to try it for sure. Because, you know, we were talking
I didn't know
about,
I was going to get homework.
Sorry, Jocelyn. You need to report back to me.
Right,
I want
next week,
2 pages.
Am I allowed to use horse stats?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can use our stats, but cite your references and know Wikipedia.
My favorite new thing on Twitch now is Casey Tron bringing up a calculator on her screen while she's playing Hearthstone. It is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she's the best troll ever, dude. I'm like on record. I'm a Casey Tron fan. It's so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's like, hold on, you guys. I need to put up my calculator, and then she'll be like 5 plus 2. Okay, I can't. I don't have lethal, you guys. I don't have lethal. You're like, what?
That's great.
It's so good.
Jocelyn, you want to take our listener crazy game story from Mike?
Sure. This one made me laugh so much. So this is called Teaching
God,
My
this is
Fiance to Rage Quit.
Novel.
Stick with it, dude. Stick with it.
All
So, over the past 5 months or so, I've been playing Hearthstone. My fiance's never really shown much interest in the game. Isn't a gamer, but understands that I enjoy them, and I can't help but periodically tell her things about games that I'm excited about, and she will smile and nod, but has never really shown any interest until now. After listening to your show last week, I mentioned to her that it sounded like an iPad version of Hearthstone would be out soon. This was very exciting to me because it meant I could play Hearthstone in bed next to her while she slept, but very surprisingly, she responded with, "That's great! Does that mean you're finally going to teach me how to play that game?" So he was like, "Well, yeah, of course." So that was huge for him, and he was really excited. So, gets her a Battle.net account, installed it on the computer. She played through the tutorial and then challenged him to a game. So he chose a starter warrior and she was a starter mage, and it's her first ever real game of Hearthstone. So by the end of turn 6, he had a 5/6 Girabashi Berserker on the board, and that was it. We're both at 25 health. On turn 7, he played a Girabashi Berserker plus a Murloc Tidehunter, Murlocs. The 2/1 that summons a 1/1 and then hit her in the face for 5. On her turn, she sheeped the 5/6 and decided to play Arcane Missiles, thinking she had 3 1-health targets available for it to hit. Missile number 1 hit the Berserker. Her response was, "Damn." Missile number 2 hit the Berserker. "Damn." Missile number 3 hit the Berserker. "What the hell?" And this meant that my 2/7 Berserker was now an 11/4. Plus, I still had the 3 other minions alive. I got to teach her about RNG and how to rage quit at the same time, all the while trying not to laugh too hard. It was awesome. So thanks for that, Mike. That was great.
I want to follow up, Mike. I want to know if she ever played the game again.
Yeah.
You gotta learn that lesson at some point where don't play Arcane Missiles when they have Berserkers or Acolytes of Pain or anything that you don't want to hit multiple times. You just
for 1 damage.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. I love that story that he was just like, "I'm going to kill her so hard." It's a lesson.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're the guy that just chucks his, child in the lake and just like, learn to swim.
Yeah, he's like, learn. You got this. Don't be over here drinking a beer. I'm going to tell you guys real quick about what just happened to me on the stream, just because it didn't even win me the game, but I never get this much luck. I'm considering taking Brawl out of my Control Warrior deck because I swear to God I never play the damn card. Anyway, I'm losing badly to a token druid who... Well, no, it was a ramp druid, sorry. So he had, like, played, like, wild growth on, like, turn 2 and 3. So he was at, like, 10 mana when I was at 8 or whatever. And it was pretty bad. He had gotten the board to a state where I was definitely going to die next turn. And I had a slam, and I had a brawl, and I can't remember what else. But anyway, I was like, okay, well, I could slam something, draw a card, and then we'll see what happens. And then I slam something, draw a card, and I draw like a a Taskmaster or whatever, the Cruel Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, okay, I could play my Taskmaster and then brawl, and then maybe I'll live another turn. So I play the Taskmaster, brawl, and my Taskmaster wins. And I was like, the first time, so like 25% chance, like the first time ever that's like happened in my favor. And then he draws swipe and just kills me on the next turn. So. But it was just like, okay, maybe, and then it actually worked, but alas.
But it didn't matter. It was futile.
But I swear, I'm taking brawl out of that damn deck. I just cannot make it. It's too random. Too much random for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I had made note. I had someone brawl against me this week, and it was my Doomguard that lived or something.
Oh man!
It
See,
like
when it's like the one creature you don't want to lives. It's so terrible. I mean, I know why it's in the deck because you don't have a lot of creatures. So oftentimes you brawl and you get rid of like 5 of their creatures, and that's pretty good. But it's just unruly. I don't know what's gonna happen. So.
There's a lot of scenarios where it's good to play regardless. Is the reason. It's
yeah. I don't know. I think I just have terrible luck with it, but I'm gonna stick with it for now. We'll see.
Cool. Very, very cool. Well, let's get into emails and round out the show.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
I really want Illidan and Malfurion to get some awesome flavor text when they meet each other on the field of battle in Heroes. Just saying. Emails. You can send them to tacpodcast@gmail.com. You can also send crazy game stories there. Not that we have a lack of them. Dear God, the crazy game stories folder is just
never stop.
bursting.
They never stop. Yeah.
Anyways, first email today comes to us from Mertz, who says, "Don't fret. Being queer just means you are special, and you all certainly are. Not lick the windows on the bus special, but special that few can boast a successful podcast. Thanks, I guess." Right. 2 episodes ago, listen if you're not understanding the queer jokes. So here's my question. Has Blizzard said if the iPad app will be free or not? I mean, the game is free to play, but is Blizz obligated to give the app away free?
Yes, it's free.
Done.
Yep.
Moving on.
Done. Yeah, I knew it was going to be short, so yes, it's free.
Next email, Jocelyn.
This comes from Skyvasaur. Says, "Hey, Chicken and Roosters. So I opened a Lore Walker Cho last week and thought he would be fun in quirky decks." We actually got like 5 emails about Lore Walker Cho this last week. It was really weird.
I know. Everybody must have gotten him or something.
Yeah. So what I didn't expect was the change in the opponent's playstyle every game. Once Cho hit the board, they would either take longer turns, make bad plays, or just quit the game altogether. I was expecting cards to be flying into both players' hands, not droughts in action. Have you ever played a card or a combo that changed the opponent's playstyle in an unexpected way? Peace.
Well, definitely Lore Walker Cho does that because, the other guy just can't use a spell to get rid of it because you give the guy the spell. But I've never had success with it. So in my experience, it's always just been like I throw it down and then they kind of ignore it and just play minions. And then my next turn, I'm like, well, I have spells I can't use either. But I don't know if I've played a specific card that's changed other play styles in an unexpected way.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, now it's pretty well known because we dealt with it for a while in beta. But back before she was nerfed, Sylvanas.
Sure.
Was that card. You play this card that when it dies, it steals one of your minions. All of a sudden, you've got a big fat puzzle to solve in the middle of your Hearthstone game.
True.
One thing I saw people do a lot with Sylvanas before was that you'd play Sylvanas and you'd have a creature, and then they'd play Sylvanas, and then they would think that they would get your creature, but then you just kill their Sylvanas, and they would like do the steal back thing. So a lot of people just didn't understand how that actually was supposed to work or was working at the time.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, more often than not, it's just the threat of a card, I think, that changes opponents' playstyles. In my experience, like Unleash the Hounds has completely changed how you play against the hunter because you can't load the board up, like you just can't. Or like Black Knight changed the way a lot of people were playing, and now I think we're going to start to see Harrison Jones change the way people are playing, because now you're going to, like, right now it's really dangerous to load up a weapon and then not use it right away. Whereas before, you would see people do that all the time because no one was running Oozes or Harrison Jones. Like, there was just this period of time where nobody did that. Everybody was just loading their deck up with all this other stuff.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times when I was playing rogue decks, I would deadly poison and not swing.
Yeah, and just be like, I'll just hold on to this for now.
Yeah, it's like, they're not running the news.
Yeah.
It's definitely
totally
not running
safe to
Harrison
do,
Jones. Who the hell runs Harrison Jones?
Yeah, but now it's everywhere. And so if I'm playing Controlled Warrior or something, and I know it's a deck that potentially could run the Harrison, I will sometimes like load up my weapon and just swing to their face once, just because I'm like, I'm not going to give them 2 cards. There's no way. So yeah, it's interesting how that card is changing the meta. It's more the meta at the top, really, but it's still, it's.
Do you think it could just be, like, in this specific case of Lorewalker Cho, that people aren't used to seeing him because not a lot of players run him, so they don't know how to play against him, and it's not part of their strategy, so you throw it out and they're like, ah, crap.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think there's definitely people who haven't seen this card ever played, and they're just taken aback. Like, I bet it gets played and people are like hovering over, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What does this do?
I love seeing that when the little red glow comes around your card and you're like, haha, I have stumped him.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't, he's not really using Constructed, but I still see him in Arena, the Cobra that essentially has Death Touch.
Yeah.
That causes concern, especially if it gets taunted up.
I saw Wreckful playing the other day a deck that had the Patient Assassin in it, which is the 1/1 with stealth that has the Cobra effect on it. Like, it'll kill anything it damages. And that is not a common card to see either. And people were like, didn't know what the hell to do about that thing. So yeah, I mean, people are finding now, like, I feel like the game has been around long enough now that people are finding value in cards that didn't seem valuable before,
Yep.
And it's an interesting thing that's going on. Like, I know a lot of people are still really calling for new cards, but I don't think everything's been explored yet, really fully. Like, there's still decks out there that are going to come along where people are going to be like, holy crap, he's really running that card? Like, okay. And then it works, and they're like, okay, I guess it's a good card. Like, we just had that with the Shield Bearer, with the Zoo deck, where everyone's like, no.
Shield Bearer? No. And then you play and you try and you're like, holy shit, this is really good.
I can't get past the damn thing. If you get 4 health, it's annoying as hell.
If you get any stats on that guy, he's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
For 1 mana, too. Yeah.
Yep.
You put him next to a Dire Doggy, and it's like, what?
Yeah. Shadow Sun Clericam, drop a Defender of Argus. Like, anything. Anything you add to that guy is just pure value.
Yeah.
Even if you don't add to him, he just protects all your other guys that are annoying as hell.
Protects your Knife Juggler.
Your Knife Juggler is just like, ha-ha.
Oh, man. I screwed up, you guys. I called it a juggler.
You called it by a proper card. We'll always have Taz Dingoes. So.
Totally messed up. Oh, man. Forgive me, Juggalos. Forgive me.
Yeah. Anyways, you want to take the next email, Dills?
Sure. This is from Vic. He says, greetings, Chicken Crew. I was just thinking, there are cards that I've never seen played ever. Oh, we were just talking about that. What are the absolute worst cards out there that no one at all ever plays, and why are they still around? Keep up your awesome podcast.
Wisp!
Raid Leader.
Sure. Raid Leader. Well, but you see Raid Leader because a lot of people look at it initially and go, this is a good card.
There are things that can happen in Arena where Raid Leader might be picked.
No, I definitely have picked Raid Leader in Arena. That's the only place where I ever end up playing it. But I don't know, like Dalaran Mage, like it's just so crap.
So why do you think
Goldshire Footman
those ones haven't been buffed or taken out or changed in any way, really.
Well, I think they haven't been changed because, like, a card isn't good unless another card is bad, right? Like, it's just like if all the cards are the same, then we just have like, well, every card should just be a 1/1, and then we just
for one.
Yeah, for one, and okay, whoever goes first wins. Like a card has to be bad. Like one card has to be bad for another card to be considered a good card, right? And you just kind of need those cards in there for not only for like a comparison purpose. Like when I'm getting into the game for the first time, I can look at this card and go, oh, this card's better than that card because of I can clearly see why this card is better. So that means this is a good card. So if those cards weren't there, you'd have no like comparison really. And then if like every card was good, then like what are we doing here? We're just bashing our good cards into the other good cards and like.
But isn't that really what's happening anyway? I mean, if everyone is always picking the top 30 cards and there's other cards that are never getting played, aren't we just bashing the good cards against the good cards? So then why have the
figuring out a combination of the good cards and then maybe some cards that are kind of mediocre, but when paired with another certain card are suddenly good. So
why is anything anything?
Yeah, man, we're getting real existential around here. Yeah, you know what? There's no point. Time is a flat circle. Like, it's just...
Okay, that's the second time I've heard that tonight.
True Detective, watch it.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's, everything we've done before, man. We're just stuck here, bruh. All right. Yeah, it's just you gotta have bad cards for the good cards to be good. Or else,
we should just opt out of existence.
Like, how do you know you're happy if you've never been sad before, right? Like, you know.
So the wisp makes you sad?
Yeah, the wisp is sadness.
The wisp's real name is Rust.
Yeah. Wisp is sadness, and like, you know, Druid of the Claw is like happiness. Like, that's just how it works.
Exactly. Done. I finished True Detective,
by
the way. Oh my god.
They're going to put out new cards, and they're going to put out new bad cards. Like, just watch. It's how it's gonna happen that way.
The chat was also freaking out and saying Magma Rager. So yes, Magma Rager, bad.
Magma Rager, terrible.
Oh, yeah. Terrible, awful card.
Yet somehow,
make sure we slip that in there.
Yet somehow, Amani Berserker that becomes Magma Rager, awesome. Like, I don't know, whatever. It's just what it is.
It has the
details.
It has the throughput. It survives.
Yeah.
It
already did something.
It has a chance to stick.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can get a minion to stick, it's great. The Magma Rager doesn't stick.
Nope.
Anything that can kill it, kills it.
Mm-hmm. Wisps versus Magma Ragers.
And fight.
Even fight.
Yeah. Oh my god, we need to do like the underdog tournament where we like we create a card list of the worst cards in the game. It's like you can only use these cards to construct a deck. Go.
Oh man. That could be fun.
I so want to do that. That would be amazing. Really cool. That's right up there with random decks.
Yeah.
Only bad cards.
Yep. Final email of tonight. Jocelyn, take it away.
This one comes to us from Braz. So listening to the Aftercast chat on episode 24, and you threw out the idea of fear for warlocks. There really is no reason it can't behave just like Frozen. You have to take into account that Frozen minions and heroes can become vulnerable to spells like Ice Lance, dealing more damage when frozen.
Well, currently only Ice Lance.
Huh?
Currently only Ice Lance.
Well, yeah, but the precedent is there.
Mm-hmm.
Fear could have a counterpart like Horrify, so you fear a minion if a minion is already feared, fear the minions on either side of it, or something like that. Anywho, just my 2 cents from Braz. So I actually had a thought, because I think this was the episode I wasn't on, and when you guys were talking about it, I was like, oh my god, I have an idea. So when you get feared in WoW, you run away randomly. What if you feared a minion, it changed position on the board somehow?
That I like better, and I believe someone in chat room had suggested it.
Chat room,
maybe
such a
it didn't.
Fun stealer.
It may not have made the record, but I think afterwards someone said, "I'm like, oh damn, that is a good idea."
Yeah. So that's I think what fear should be, but I think fear is a great idea.
Yeah, I don't know if it just like makes it not attack. It's just boring because it's too similar to freezing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it still needs to be somehow a little more differentiated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also do something where like you fear something and then it has like a 50% chance of like return to your hand, or like, there's a lot of things you could do that could make fear separated from freezing. So
yeah,
I mean, there's there's room for mechanics that are similar. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of Horrify too, like having some kind of dual mechanic sort of thing, mechanics that build on each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
That's
Everything has to tie back into what works in WoW though too. So like, you know, I'm not a big Warlock player, but I know that like there's other things that you can do to like a feared player and stuff like that. Like it could be really interesting what you could do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we have a couple minutes to take questions, or you got to get out of here, Dills?
It's getting close, so probably
take-
got to bail.
All right. Chat room, if you got a couple questions, throw them in real fast while we start the outro. Patreon. We just finished our first month ever on Patreon. Thank you guys so very, very much. It's awesome. I can't thank you guys enough. It's we're still going up. We're still getting more patrons. Again, our first goal is 1,000 per month. We'll start doing a once a month Hearthstone hangout in Google Hangouts with Angry Chicken listeners. So if you were interested in becoming a patron of the Angry Chicken, you can do so over at patreon.com/TAC. This week we wanted to thank Mike L, Luke J, John, Elizabeth H, and Patrick B, which may be a Frenchman that I believe we're familiar with. So
Really?
Thank you very much,
Very
Patrick.
nice things to say about us at BlizzCon.
And a very nice scarf.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Ugly
I
neck.
miss Movie Licious.
Terrible looking neck on
That was a really, really fun and tasty breakfast after BlizzCon.
It was like, it better have been because it was like $40.
So damn expensive. Oh my God. I didn't know that either. I would have eaten more. Like
I know,
my
right?
bill came
Yeah.
and I was like, shit, can I get like 4 more omelets to go? Thanks.
Well, I was totally hungover, so that was about all I could handle anyway. But yeah,
I was totally.
the company made it worth it, though.
I was in a similar. Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, if this wasn't a table full of everyone I love listening to and talking to, I would have been unhappy with this bill. But lucky for Marriott, I had good company. It was a calm man. Anyways, thank you to all the patrons. We tried to only think of like 5 a week just to keep it short. But seriously, if you've backed the Angry Chicken, we really, really appreciate it. It helps out the show more than you probably know.
Mm-hmm.
So, also thanks to those of you who are iTunes listeners and left us reviews. This week, thanks to D. Jiri, Rexter, Raging Paladin, Dev Mage, and D has 34 who says, simply the best!
I will not participate in this.
Oh, come on, Jocelyn. Take it to the chorus.
Oh,
No.
man, you're the grumpy one today, Joss.
All right.
I don't sing.
It's because, Dills, you started off crapping on ESO, and now she's cranky.
Yeah, this
Way
is
to
your
go.
payback.
Thanks, man. Anyone from Canada, Jocelyn?
We had Tara Lee 62 from Canada that left us a 5-star review. Why is that so funny?
No, I'm just laughing. I'm still laughing about the ESO thing.
Oh.
And the way you said Tara Lee.
What?
It's kind of funny. I don't know. Ignore
How
me.
did I say it that it was weird?
It sounded like Wookiee because you're Canadian. I don't know. I was still laughing about the ESO thing. Chat room real quick asked, any use for Torn Chieftain? No.
Chat room also...
Funsies.
Funsies. Chat room also asked, what do we think about Jiraxis not counting towards the 500 win reward?
I think that is an oversight and it needs to be fixed immediately.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That is a problem.
So, I don't know, because I was talking about this, I think it was actually when you guys might have been streaming Heroes, maybe? Anyways, I was talking about it in the A-Move chat, and I mean, technically you're not winning with a Warlock, you're winning with...
Technically, you can kiss my ass, because I'm
Demon.
winning. Like, you can technically kiss my ass. Like, you shouldn't win. Like, then that's like saying, like, oh, well, you play Tyrion, it doesn't count because he's a really friggin' good card.
Well, no, but that's the thing. Tyrion doesn't become your hero.
I understand.
Like, you don't.
I understand
your hero doesn't
the
die.
the technical reason why that is happening, but it's bullshit.
But when you
cool.
win as Jiraxis as a priest, you got before like Warlock XP. Like you still count as being a Warlock. Like
So hey, hold on a sec. Do I get a golden friggin' Jiraxis if I win 500 times Jiraxis? No. Okay, it's a bug. Fix it.
yeah, it's a bug. It's a bug, and they will fix it. And I bet you they'll even go back and they'll give old wins to people.
I was
I don't
about
think they meant for it to happen.
I was about to just preface you because I saw you going into your rationalization, Jocelyn. I was about to just be like, before you start this, Jocelyn, I'm going to just tell you you're wrong at the end of whatever you're about to say.
That's fine. I'm used to it, but that doesn't make me wrong.
She makes a valid point.
Your rationalization is correct. It's stupid.
Yeah. But no, I'm almost positive that Blizzard's going to fix that because
I'm sure they will. There's a lot of people that win with it.
You can't penalize warlocks for playing their warlock legendary.
Legendary.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Doesn't affect me currently because there's no Draxus in my warlock deck, but
yeah, if you're not playing if you're playing handlock though, like you're not happy.
Yeah, but yeah, give me a golden Draxus then maybe I'll calm down.
But see that you pull from a deck, you know what I mean? So that's or a pack.
So you can get
different.
it.
Yeah, that's different.
but I should be guaranteed one if I win as Draxus 500 times.
Yeah, just like boom, here it is. That'd be kind of interesting. But no,
if after winning as Draxus 500 times you don't have enough gold or dust to craft him, then you're doing it wrong.
Well, the thing is by your rationalization, then that should be the reward for winning 500 times. If you can't get a win as Draxus towards your warlock, then you should get a golden Draxus eventually.
You should just be able to start as Draxus, like
done
right at the beginning of the game.
Done. I will then be okay with it. 500 wins as Draxus? Cool. You are now Draxus.
You are now always Draxus.
You permanently face Draxus.
Actually, what do you think that would like? What if you started at 15 health, but you were Draxus?
Well, you could start pooping out 6
you
sixes
could
for
pop
2
out
mana.
6/6 on turn 2.
So I'm pretty sure it still work out pretty freaking well.
You would probably still win, like all the time.
You have a 3 damage weapon equipped, and you can poop out 6 sixes anytime you want. Yeah. I think it would work just fine.
And I think you guys are illustrating why maybe it shouldn't count.
No, we're not saying you
It's not a cheat, but I mean, Draxus is way powerful.
Oh, Jocelyn, you're so wrong right now. This is the wrongest you've ever been.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just saying, like maybe they thought this through.
Demon's
Maybe it's
advocate
not
right
a
now.
bug. I'm just saying.
ESO is bad, and Draxus should count for a win.
I'm just saying. Please don't disown me. And
there
kick
was
me
someone
off
in
the
chat
show.
room who I believe was jokingly saying, "Oh, I'll become a patron when Garrett's nice to Jocelyn." I'm like, I'm not that mean to Jocelyn, and now I'm totally.
And then
point.
you totally just proved them right.
Yeah, but she's
just
really
lost the
wrong,
patron.
guys. You don't get how wrong she is.
Lost the patron, Garrett. Thanks very much.
You don't know how wrong she is.
Now they're talking about eye for an eye. Guys, I know.
She's super wrong. Eye for an eye is like the in joke now. It's now become like the TAC meme. Jocelyn's not being serious when she says it's a good card, and I'm not seriously angry when I rip on her for saying it's a good card. It's a going joke. What about this show before we end? Hey, it's called The Angry Chicken. They must take this really seriously.
So true. Pick the best card in the game to name the show after.
I want like hard-hitting investigative journalism from The Angry Chicken. That's what we want. Anyways, as always, sorry, Jocelyn. The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv and the Frog Pants Studios. You can see more about this and the other amove shows over on amove.tv. Make sure to check out all of the shows on frogpants.com as well. Our email is tacpodcasts@gmail.com. The forum can be found over at forum.amove.tv. And we record the show every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv. Our mobile live stream is provided by Alpha Geek Radio, which you can get by going to mobile.alphageekradio.com. Our Twitter is @TACPodcast. I can be found at Garrett Art. Dills is @Willie Dills, and Jocelyn is @GISGamer. Big thanks to Brian Griffith, the musician responsible for our intro music. He can be found at briangriffithmusic.com. Finally, please check out nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio. Dills, where can people find you?
Listen to The Instance Friday mornings. We talk about World of Warcraft, the World of Warcraft podcast, so you don't have to. You can also check out the Torture Cast, the Giants podcast, by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. And, of course, MGA stuff, Mediocre Golf. It's in full effect right now, so go ahead and check it out. And you can also find me on Thursdays on Into the Nexus.
Yeah, new show, Talking Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, man, it's going to be good.
Yeah. If Uther had a move called Eye for an Eye, it might actually be good. Jocelyn, where can people find you?
On the Gamers Inn every Friday night at that time that we record stuff. 8:30 Eastern.
9:30? 8:30.
I always get mixed up because of my stupid Atlantic time zone. But yeah, 8:30 Eastern. We record the Gamers Inn and we talk all things video games. You can also find articles that I write on Doghouse Network, and there should be an ESO one up probably next weekend since I didn't get to play on Sunday.
Jerks.
Yeah, delays.
And she can also be found on this week's episode of A-Move Radio, episode 24, where we talked a lot about Elder Scrolls Online.
That's true.
We gave Jocelyn ample time to talk about how much she loved it, and Dills, you'll be happy I talked about how much I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
About the game.
Wow.
About the game, not about what Jocelyn was saying. We actually had a really good talk, I feel.
It was very balanced until what you said right there.
I was trying to get Dills interested to go listen. And he's just like, eh.
You talked about what? ESO?
And Game of Thrones.
Won't be joining in.
And I was going to talk about True Detective, but we ran out of time because we had to start doing this show.
Well, now you're talking.
Yeah, there you go. Dills and I are also going to start a True Detective show.
Looking forward to that.
We're talking about a show that's finished.
The one episode that already finished, or the one season that already finished.
And how it's not
whatever is going to happen in the second one that we don't know.
Which is going to be like different cast and different location. Have nothing to do with the first season.
Looking forward to it.
Good stuff. The Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm show chat room is starting this Thursday. Normally going to record at 9 p.m. Eastern, but this week we're recording at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Please check out our sponsors, DoghouseSystems.com. Our code is TAC, and that'll get you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig. We thank them for their support. Thanks again to all of the Angry Chicken patrons, and we will see you all next week for episode 27 of The Angry Chicken. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!
All
right, guys. I got to bail.
See you, Dills.
8:37.
I'm
Later,
about to
chat
pass
room.
out.
See everybody next week or sooner than that, probably, if you follow me on Twitch.
Yep.
Peace.
I'm logging out too, chat room. I swear, Jocelyn and I are friends in real life.
We are so much friends.
There's so much love that just some hate happens. And to that creepy guy that asked if Jocelyn's single, she has a boyfriend that will tear you in half. Signing out.